Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This match, part of the STX Masterscup, Woojin versus Estro. It's the fourth set. We are going to have Guemchi going up against Sangho, aka Ryan, on Heartbreak Ridge. 3 o'clock position, we have Ryan in brown, aka Sangho. 9 o'clock position, we have Guemchi. Guemchi is one of those guys who I thought was really going to be a strong, solid protoss player, but he kind of fell off the map, had some really spectacular play, and then just suddenly became lackluster out of nowhere. A couple guys like Haran are like that as well. I'm kind of wondering what happened to him. Sangho has really been at the top of Estro for quite some time. He's one of their better players. Unfortunately, Estro's been kind of lackluster across the board. I would say Up Magic and Hiva, or Hiva, however you want to pronounce his name, are definitely two players that are better than he is, comparatively. By the way, you can participate in Diggity Bingo here if you go to flixreel.com/cash, as in internet cache, /diggity.html, or just click the link in the description in the upper right hand corner. Special thanks to DDRIRC for making that for me. Diggity Bingo. You guys can watch back commentaries if you like, when I was not as good at commentating and things like that. So it doesn't look like either player opening up with cheese. Between these two guys, I'm going to favor Guemchi on a whim, just because I haven't seen him play in a while, and I think when I saw him play at the top level, he played better than Sangho. Sangho has shown a couple spikes here and there of just being spectacular, of being really top-level protoss, but the consistency just hasn't kind of held out. He had a really spectacular game. I think it was last season versus Flash, where I was like, wow, this guy can play top-level play, but then after that he just played terribly or played mediocre. Just hasn't really gotten kind of the championship spirit. Looks like a little bit of check for cheese here and there. And both players going to start their scouting pattern right now. Both opening up with a gate to gas, both pretty standard, and it looks like both probes going to bypass one another as they move across the map. So anyway, by the way, while I'm thinking about it, a couple people again, and I know I said this during a lot of the Pro League casts, in case you missed it here, during the finals cast, people are like, oh, Warcraft 3 commentator, who is that? That is Freak. You can check him out. Check him in. Can't talk all of a sudden. Check him out at wcreplays.org. Best place. And I really like that website altogether. They're really good people there across the board, so I'll give them a shout out any day. Both players planting the anti-miner, can't talk this commentary, anti-manor pylon, and just going to try to disrupt the mining pattern as best as possible by mining a little bit there. Both players producing as out. The interesting thing about Heartbreak Ridge is, even though it is a two-player map and even though there isn't a ramp, it's still, because the distance is not very effective to open 2-gate, you can still pull the Dragoon build compared to like other maps, like specifically I think of Blue Storm. The architecture is just such that Dragoon's just not as effective as Zealots in the opening, and oddly enough, a pylon still planted, not exactly a proxy pylon. I think that was a pylon plant. Okay, so it was a kind of a manor pylon as a little bit of a blockade. Cybernetic score going up for both players. I'm not sure if that's really worthwhile at this stage. He blocked a single SCV, and I don't think he's bringing up any additional Zealots or anything to kind of, okay, canceling it now to do anything. So that created a little bit of difference in mining time, but I'm not sure if it was worth it to get the additional Zealots, to delay your additional Zealots or delay additional things, basically. Because, yeah, a little bit of mining time, yeah, didn't feel like it's worth it. 2 Zealots now chasing after that probe, and it almost feels, every time I see this, I want to, you just want to hear silly music in the background. I'm not seeing a second Zealot on Sangho's side. Both players going for range as well, and it's kind of it's kind of the linebacker defense. Okay, there is 2 Zealots on Sangho outside, so both players actually playing just straight up at this stage. Both probes going to escape before that Dragoon pops. And now we'll see where there's kind of if there's any divulgence in play. It looks like range not being canceled on Guemchi's side. I didn't see the range cancel on the opposite side either. So both players again just playing straight heads up. Yeah, still getting range. And now going, so we got Robo on one side, Robo on the other. Again, just almost identical second for second here. And I gotta say, the only difference was that miner pylon. So 33 minerals seems to be the only difference in this match thus far. A probe going into the the bottom right-hand corner. And I'm kind of curious what that's about. Maybe checking for any sort of proxy tech. Also checking that ramp second gateway being placed by both players. So it looks like it's going to be 2-gate Reaver for both guys, and yeah, completely straight up. Just absolutely no difference, and it's like these guys are locked into a mind meld. Pylon being planted to the north just in case there was anything being mined out there for some cheese, and it looks like a probe's coming around to mine out the mineral patch in the bottom left as well, but a Dragoon already headed that direction. Looks like he's going to try to sneak a scout in, but that Dragoon should catch it. And, maybe, actually, looks like that probe might... No, okay, it's not going to get away. Just kept moving back and forth up there. Bad pathing. Decided to do the pathing of suicide. Why they decided to do that, I don't know. You'd think they'd be like, let's get the heck out of here. No, instead they decided to zigzag and try to dance around a Dragoon that never misses. Both players out with the 3 Dragoons, 2 Zealots. Dead even. Probe wandering up, probably going to get sniped immediately. Maybe not. There we go. Just takes that 3 hits. And neither player... okay, there's a robotics facility. There's a robotics facility on the opposite end. I was about to say they haven't shown the robotics facility up even though, so I guess both players are showing 2 gate. I'm going to go open observer instead. Again, still dead even, and it's going to come down to just some really nice micro. Both players playing in the dark, I should say. The probe scout died a little bit later there for Guemchi, but that doesn't really make a difference. He got a good spot at the troop numbers, and that's really the only difference. But honestly, with the timing of everything, I assume that that essentially Sangho has the exact same idea. He's like, okay, I know exactly what he has because, yeah, looking over the cliffside, I think he can get a spot up along that back edge, whether there's an expansion or not. His own probe coming in, so now he's going to get a look at the troop counts. So with 1 less probe. I also saw a probe coming to the front, so that might give him the misinformation that there's a secondary being placed, which I'm sure would give him some excitement with this shuttle harass. Reaver being produced. I still don't see an observatory on Sangho's part. A couple Dragoons, both players moving directly out in the field. This is the Reaver coming out a little bit sooner here for Guemchi rather than Sangho, so that Reaver looks like it's going to be in support for Guemchi, not for Sangho. Another looks like catching out of position. Finally, that Reaver coming up on the opposite end, and both players. Never mind. Looks like Guemchi's going to charge. No, okay, sorry. Yes, both players going to charge directly to each other's base, but taking opposite routes. So they're going to have. It's going to come down to a complete elimination match here. This is going to be hilarious. Is who can eliminate who first with troops on the field, and this is going to be a critical kind of experiment on, I guess, who balks. And this hurts for Guemchi. It looks like he's going to lose a Dragoon out in the field immediately in his defense. But now both players coming to each other's base. This is absolutely hilarious. Both players wandering directly into each other's base. So the question is yeah, who can do the most damage the fastest? They really got to take out those gateways. Probes coming off the line a little bit faster for Guemchi, quite a bit later for Sangho, and those probes trying to run for their lives. Looks like they are going to come out, and it looks like it's going to be an all-in. Wow, an absolute all-in from Guemchi. He's pulling all his probes for an attack. It looks like Sangho's doing the same. He realizes he needs those additional probes just to kind of fight inside the base, still mining a little bit here and there, but I think, yeah, just pulling those probes a little bit sooner is going to be the difference here. The Nexus starting to get hit. I'm not sure if Sangho got more probes coming out his direction, but otherwise it's dead even, and it's going to be, I wonder if anyone actually practiced for this. Looks like that Reaver coming back across, and that could actually hurt Guemchi's odds. Guemchi is going to be able to take out a couple things, but with that Reaver, he might be able to kill one. If he can just kill a Dragoon or 2, that could be the absolute difference here. The probes now out in the mix, and oh no, he's bringing the shuttle back, and that was I'm kind of wondering where the Reaver is, and he built a Nexus inside the opposite base. That's brilliant. That is brilliant from Guemchi. It looks like Sangho might have had the same idea. Looks like he builds a Nexus as well on the opposite base. So complete base trade from both players. Still 2 Dragoons in the upper right hand in either side. Let's see if they can get any damage done here. It looks like they're going to be medevaced here. Get out of there. And so the game is going to completely reset. Weird. The game is going to reset with both players losing all of everything, and they're just going to have a couple probes. And I think in this situation, Sangho might come out ahead. His Nexus is down a bit later, but I think he saved more probes ultimately. This is crazy. I've never seen a match actually come out like this, at least not in a pro game. This is hilarious. So yeah, I think Sangho is going to come out with this, unless Guemchi does something absolutely amazing, because you can see his probe saturation is better, and especially at this low level, it ends up working better. And he's going to bring actually all these probes to try to kill everything that he can. And a Reaver coming in. Let's see if he can get a probe shot. Oh! Oh! Even things up. Sangho got way too greedy pulling those probes off the line. Big mistake. And that's going to put Guemchi ahead by a probe. Why did he do that? All he had to do is sit back with his probes. Big risk on Guemchi's part, but that it paid off. Huge payoff. So now things evened up economically, and it looks like Guemchi feeling a little bit frisky. He's going to move his troops back out and be aggressive, still pile on that